Right, so hey everyone, and welcome back to another budget photography video. Little bit of a weird one today because I don't have any lighting rigs on me and I've got no product to review. Today is a bit of a throwback to how I used to do videos to an extent. Because the other day I was thinking, I haven't really updated updated my workflow with you guys and how I've changed from how I used to how I now actually make videos and the whole process. So I'm going to start a video series again, how I make these things. And first of all, the first one that I wanted to cover, and I'm sorry for the rubbish men outside, I can't stop them. There's nothing I can do if you can hear it on the audio. I'm really sorry. The first one that I'm going to be doing is thumbnails. So if I push record on my screen now, that's for Alex in editing, by the way, to make it easier. You can see that I have suddenly shrunk to one of the corners. Hello down there. Anyway, or actually, no, wait, or are you over there, or where am I? I don't know. Maybe I'm up there. Anyway, moving on. As you can see on your screen, this is the thumbnail that I used for the 17-40 f4 review. And I love this lens, I really, really do. But obviously this is not the first and only shot. Now, I'm not going to specifically go about how I edited this specific one, but I'm going to go about how I would edit this picture anyway, in general, if I was to do this again. So, here is the actual image. Here is a raw format. So first of all, let's have a look at the information. So obviously it was shot on the EOS R6 with a 24-105 f4, and it is 21 megabytes, focal length 45 millimeters, 1/400th of a second, aperture f4 obviously, ISO 1000, 6th of April, file name, yada yada yada. And it is a C-RAW, a CR RAW 3. So, that is the information on the image. So, this is obviously, well, the image. So, if we just have a look around this first, we can see, look, just here, up here, this black dot here, the truck is now leaving, thank God. And there's a few others, like over here, that I need to get rid of, because at the time I hadn't cleaned my camera sensor, which is on me. I left dirt on the sensor. That's my fault. So I'm going to go over to here and I'm going to go to the healing brush, and I am just going to delete them and get rid of them, because you don't really want them on your images, do you? So it doesn't look right. There we go. There we go. That'll do for now. So now we get into the editing itself. Now, I'm one of the kind of photographers who I don't really like doing too much editing. I'm not one of them ones that will, get the saturation, do that, maybe that or that, and then just ruin the entire image and just make it look absolutely horrible. So, what can we actually do with this image to make it better? Because, well, it's a decent image, and I've actually just noticed that I've missed just there and then there. There are marks on my arm or marks on the sensor, I'm not sure. Anyway, doesn't matter. So what can we actually do? Because this is a pretty decent image. Yes, in this particular image, the 17-40 is out of focus. If you notice, actually, in the one that I did publish, it is actually in focus. So this one that we're editing today is a reject, so to speak. So what can we do first of all? Well, we've got some vignetting from how I set up the lighting and from the 24-105 that I used to take the picture. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in some texture, not a lot, bring in a little bit of clarity, maybe a smidge of dehaze, and we're going to bring in the sharpness, because for some reason Canon cameras are not very sharp, and it kind of annoys me because they're not sharp enough to where I would like. They're sharp, but they're not sharp enough. And that has actually brought out some more stuff that I need to get rid of, which is perfectly fine. You can see how important it is to keep your sensor clean and your lenses. I am very, very bad that I don't clean my equipment enough. I really don't clean my camera equipment enough. Okay, so getting into the actual normal editing now. I don't really think we need denoising. I think if I'm going to denoise, I think I'll do it last. Because I normally would go down these. So let's have a look at what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to actually, the sun's coming out now, so I might end up bringing down my IS. No, I think I'll be fine. So this is auto, and I quite like that darker feel to this image. I feel like it would draw a viewer's eye more, believe it or not, than if it was a brighter image with auto like that. And also it's kind of yellowed my hands. Now, yes, I can and am going to be changing that. So I think what I'm going to do is change the colours first of all. And I'm actually going to cool it down a little bit like that. Or maybe a little bit too much. Just like that. To be fair, there's never really much to do. As I said, I like to be one of the photographers that gets things right in camera and only really, changes like, I don't know, maybe a little bit of contrast and maybe the white balance. Because I usually, when I'm taking pictures, I usually just leave it on auto white balance and deal with it later. I'm lazy like that, and there is apparently a fly in here. So I like that purple range there, the green and purples, that's all right. I'm going to go with the blues because I'm going to do a Sony thing here with this one. And I'm going to look for, there it is, the teals. And I'm going to bring out some teal into the image. And a lot of Sony shooters are very, very guilty of using the teals. Now, my next step is to go to the subject selector because I want to change my hand because Canon's skin colors are really quite good. But if you notice here, particularly on my thumb, it's quite warm, it's quite red. So I want to change it. So I'm going to select the subject. It's detecting the subject itself, which is great. Hopefully it hasn't done what I want, which is unfortunate, but that's fine. I can just undo the select and I will do this manually with a brush. So I'm ever so gently, I'm just going to go around once with this. I'm going to bring that down smaller just as I go up to the thumb, because the thumb is the real piece here of where it needs attention. I'm not going to go into the shadows. I'm going to go around the shadows, maybe just to come down here where it's slightly lighter. And then I'll just fill in this here. Just making sure that it's all nicely covered. Okay, so now we've got that mask created. What we can do now is we can actually edit that particular area. Now what I do, because I sometimes struggle to see with this red mask, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to bring up the brightness of the image, therefore spoiling said image. And then I'm just so I can see where I need to continue on the mask if I need to. So with this one in particular, you can see that I need to concentrate a little bit more on the upper parts of the thumb here. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I can come down again. There we go. And I can do here. Making sure that it is all, I think that should be okay. It's not the best work, but I think for this, it will be fine. So I'm going to bring that brightness back down to normal. And I'm just going to cool my hand down. I'm not someone that's, been out on holiday recently, so I don't have a tan. So that's that sorted out. To be fair, that's kind of it. I think I might bring back these teals a little bit. There we go. And that, maybe a little bit of cropping, just because we've got, you know, because this is a YouTube video, so we have to crop in. Now, normally, a lot of the time, what will happen is the YouTube app or website will crop in for you or allow you to move around, you know, the thumbnail. So if I'm like this, for example, and let's say I'm just off center, I'm over here, for example, it does sometimes, not all the time, allow you to just kind of move the center, if there is enough room in the image, to bring it to the, you know, where it should be. Or if I'm just kind of up here and there's more headroom in the image, but I'm up here, I can just bring it down like that. But I usually prefer, as I said, I prefer to get things right in camera first time. And to be fair, there's not really much more that I would change about this image. I mean, maybe we could bring up the exposure a little bit, maybe some more contrast, maybe we can, you know, drop the blacks a bit. Let's bring that contrast back down, because I like the blacks being dropped there. Now we have got this shadowing here, and what I want to see if I can do is get rid of it with the vignette. So normally you would go like that to kind of focus in on your subject, but what I'm going to do actually is, no, that's not going to work. Sometimes what can work is by bringing in what I call a negative vignette. Now, if I extremely bring that in, you can see that, yes, that, what I call negative vignette, has gotten rid of that shadow, but the amount of negative vignette that I need is not, you know, you're going to see it in the image, so I'm not going to use it. So we're just going to bring that back to normal. Maybe we can just keep it like that. I'm sure the users will probably not mind. And also, as I said literally just now, YouTube lets you crop in, so maybe I'll be able to crop in again if I absolutely need to. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining me in this really quick video, and I'll see you in the next one.